The sky of Valara was full of soft light. Two suns shone above the silver clouds. Tall crystal towers sparkled like stars. The city was clean, beautiful, and full of strange colors. Birds with glowing wings flew past the buildings. The air smelled like sweet flowers and rain. Eli stood on the landing platform looking at the alien city. He was a young human diplomat, tall and slim, with brown hair and calm eyes. His clothes were simple, but clean and formal. Behind him stood three other humans, his team. "This is it," Eli whispered. "First human visit to Valara." Valarans had invited them to build peace and friendship. For years there had been silence between the two races. But now they wanted to connect, trade, and share knowledge. Soon, a group of Valarans came forward. They were tall, slim, with glowing skin in shades of blue and green. Their long hair floated slightly in the air, like it had no weight. Their eyes were bright silver. Their clothes were soft and flowing like silk. The humans bowed politely, and then she arrived. Queen Sorrentha, ruler of Valara, stepped forward with grace. Her long white gown shimmered like moonlight. Crown. A floating gem circled above her head. Her skin was a soft lavender color, and her eyes were the brightest silver. The moment her eyes met Eli's, everything changed. She stopped. Her lips parted slightly, and then she blushed. Her cheeks turned a bright pink, a deep, visible change that spread across her face. A soft glow came from her skin. Gasps came from the Velaran guards and advisors. Some looked away. Others stared in shock. Velaran royals never showed emotion in public. Never. It was seen as a sign of weakness or loss of control. But Queen Sorrentha was clearly blushing. Because of Eli, Eli felt awkward. He stood still, not sure what to say. Then the queen took a step forward. She looked into his eyes and said in a soft, warm voice, "You are welcome, human." Eli gave a small bow. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I'm honored to be here." The queen smiled slightly, her eyes still locked on his. Then she turned and led the group into the royal hall. As they walked, Eli could feel the tension around him. The Velaran advisors whispered. Some guards looked angry, others looked confused. The other humans also noticed something strange had happened. Inside the palace, everything looked like it was made from living crystal. The floors were smooth, and the walls shimmered with soft lights. Floating plants gave off a peaceful glow. Music played from unseen instruments in the air. Queen Sorrentha led them to a round chamber. Food and drinks were already placed on a floating table. Chairs moved by themselves to invite them to sit. "We welcome our guests from Earth," she said formally. "May this meeting begin the next great chapter between our people." The humans clapped politely. Eli gave a short speech, talking about peace, trade, shared dreams. But the queen kept looking at him. Her silver eyes never wandered far. She smiled more than usual. She even laughed at one of Eli's jokes, something that shocked her council. When the meeting ended, she stood and said, "Ambassador Eli, please walk with me." Eli blinked. "Of course." The queen led him through a private garden. The air was filled with soft glowing mist. Giant flowers opened slowly as they passed. "I must apologize," she said. "I did something strange. Something not royal." "You don't need to apologize," Eli said gently. "I was surprised, yes, but not offended." She smiled again. "When I saw you, I felt something I've never felt before. It was not fear. It was not politics. It was something deep, warm, as if we had met before, in another life." Eli didn't know what to say. "I felt something too. Maybe just nerves, or maybe something more." She touched a flower. "Gently, my people will talk. They already whisper. But I don't care. I feel alive, and I don't want to hide that." Eli looked at her. She was graceful, powerful, beautiful, but also lonely. He could feel it. Before he could speak, a guard ran into the garden. "Your Majesty," he said, "the news feeds are full of your image, the moment you blushed." The queen looked calm. "Let them speak." That night, across Valara, every screen showed the moment Queen Sorrentha blushed. It was the top story. Some citizens laughed. Others were angry. Some were scared. They said our queen is losing control, or she is. Weak before the humans. Some said, she is in love. Eli stayed in his guest room, watching the news in silence. He didn't know what to feel. The queen had been kind, honest, warm. But he was a diplomat. This was dangerous. A message came to his screen. It was from Sorrentha. Tomorrow, meet me at the Mirror Garden, alone. He turned off the screen and sat on the bed. He whispered to himself, what is happening here? It's far away, in a dark part of the palace. A figure stood in front of a small screen watching Eli's face. He wore dark robes and had a cold expression. She is soft, he said quietly. Too soft. Pressed a button and sent a short message to someone outside the planet. Phase 1 has begun. The queen is falling. The next morning, the sky of Valara was pink and gold. Mist floated between the tall towers. The planet looked peaceful, but Eli's heart was not. He dressed in a plain dark outfit and stepped out of his room. Didn't tell his human team where he was going. Queen Sorrentha had asked him to come alone. He followed the path toward the Mirror Garden. It was quiet. The crystal walkways made soft sounds under his boots. Flowers glowed in slow patterns, and giant insects buzzed gently. Above the trees, Eli saw her waiting. Queen Sorrentha stood near a still pond. The water was perfectly clear, reflecting the trees, sky, and her image like glass. She turned when he arrived, her face calm but full of thought. Good morning, Eli, she said. Good morning, Your Majesty, he answered, though I'm guessing this isn't just for a walk. She smiled slightly. You are right. She held out her hand. In her palm was a glowing blue crystal. This is called a Valoon. It is a living crystal from the deep caves of Valara. It can hold thoughts, memories, even feelings. Eli looked at it carefully. It was warm, glowing, and shaped like a teardrop. Why are you giving it to me? I don't know, she said honestly. But I feel I must. It feels like it belongs with you. Eli gently took the crystal. The moment he touched it, it flashed. A soft wave of warmth passed through his chest. It was like a hugger, a heartbeat. Then the glow faded again. Sorrentha watched him closely. Did you feel that? Yes, Eli said slowly. But I can't explain it. The queen looked away, toward the trees. Balloon crystals bond with people. If it accepts you, it may protect you, or even speak to you. Speak, he asked, raising an eyebrow, not with words, with feelings. Eli nodded slowly. Thank you. They walked slowly through the garden, talking about Earth and Valara. For a moment, it felt simple like two friends, or more, getting to know each other. But peace never lasts long. Later that day, a large event was held in the open sky arena. Thousands of Velarans floated on soft light platforms. Music filled the air. It was a festival to honor the new friendship between humans and Velarans. Queen Sorrentha stood in the center, with Eli beside her. He felt nervous. Everyone was watching. Suddenly dash, boom. A blast of light exploded near the queen. A deadly energy bolt shot toward Eli. The humans shouted. Guards moved fast. But just before the blast hit Eli, the crystal on his chest glowed bright and a shield formed around him. The bolt hit the shield and bounced off. Eli fell back, unharmed. People screamed. Guards ran. Sorrentha raised her hand, and a protective dome covered the area. Eli sat up, his ears ringing. Sorrentha knelt beside him, her hand shaking. Are you hurt? No, he said. The crystal saved me. She looked at the glowing Valoon, her face pale. This was not. Just a warning, she said. Someone wants you dead. Later, in the safety of the palace, the Velaran Council met in secret. It was the Red Dusk Rebels, one advisor said. They've attacked before. No, Sorrentha said quietly. This was too clean. Too fast. Someone inside helped. Them? Eli sat nearby, the balloon still glowing on his chest. One of the generals stood up, his eyes cold. With respect, Your Majesty, maybe we should send the humans home. This is our problem. They came here in peace, Sorrentha said, and now someone has tried to kill their leader. Eli stood up slowly. I don't want to leave. I want to know why someone wants me dead. The room went silent. Finally, Sorrentha nodded. Then we will find the truth together. That night, Eli returned to his room. He took off the crystal and placed it on the table. He stared at it. It pulsed. Suddenly, a soft light came from the crystal and formed letters in the air. A message. Trust no one in the royal circle, not even her. Eli froze. He looked around. Who sent that? The crystal pulsed again, but no more words came. Eli sat down, feeling cold. Was someone using the balloon to warn him, or was the crystal alive? The next morning, Eli met a young Valerian guard named Kale. Kale had green skin and bright orange eyes. He had helped save people during the attack. Kale leaned close and whispered, I don't think this was the rebels. I think someone in the palace tried to kill you? Eli nodded. I believe you. But how do we find out who? Kale smiled slightly. Follow me. He led Eli deep into the lower levels of the palace old tunnels built long ago. They passed storage rooms, energy cores, and old chambers full of dust. Finally, Kale stopped at a locked door. This is the old library, he said. Not on the public maps. He opened the door. Inside, old holograms floated in the air. Books made of crystal sat in rows. Ancient symbols glowed on the walls. Kale touched a panel. A hologram appeared. A human and a Velaran standing side by side. What is this?
I whispered.
A record, Kale said. From thousands of years ago. The first time humans and Velarans met. Before the war. Before the silence. The hologram showed them fighting together. Sharing meals. Even bonding in something that looked like a wedding. They weren't enemies, Eli said. They were partners. Kale nodded. The royal bloodline remembers. That's why the queen acts different around you. It's something older. Eli touched the glowing image. Maybe that's why the balloon chose me, he said. Maybe we're connected. Back in her private chambers, Queen Sorrentha stood alone. Watching a recording, it showed her blushing. She watched it again and again, touching her own cheek. I don't understand this, she whispered. Why? Him? Why now? An older advisor entered. Her name was Maelra, one of Sorrentha's most trusted friends. You feel something for him? Maelra said gently. Sorrentha nodded. I know it's wrong, but it feels right. Then it is not wrong. It will be used against me. Maelra looked serious. It already has. She handed the queen. Secret report. Sorrentha's eyes went wide. The general who asked to send the humans home, he had spoken with offworlders. He had sent secret messages just before the attack. This is betrayal, the queen said. Is war, Maelra replied. That night, Eli stood at his window, holding the balloon. He didn't know who to trust. He didn't know what was happening to him. But he knew one thing. He wasn't just a guest anymore. He was part of something bigger. Something dangerous. Something ancient. And someone wanted him dead. Eli moved carefully through the quiet halls of the palace. His footsteps were soft on the smooth crystal floor. The balloon crystal on his chest gave off a soft blue light. The warning message it showed him, trust no one in the royal circle. Not even her was stuck in his mind. He didn't want to believe it. Queen Sorrentha had been kind, honest, and different. But someone had tried to kill him. The attack was real. The danger was real. And now the truth was hiding somewhere deep in the palace. That's why Eli had followed Kale, the young Velaran guard, into the underground chambers again. We must move quietly, Kale whispered. The deeper parts of the palace are not watched by cameras, but spies walk these halls. He passed walls with glowing runes, doors made of living stone, and old statues of Velaran kings and queens. Eli noticed something odd. In many statues, the ruler stood beside someone else, a being with smooth skin, short hair and wide eyes. A human. These statues, Eli said softly. They're standing with humans. Kale nodded. Our history says we met your kind long ago. Some of us even bonded, you mean married. Kale smiled slightly in a way. Valoran bonds are deeper than marriage. They join minds, feelings, and sometimes lives. Eli walked to one of the statues and touched the smooth hand of the stone human. He felt something stir inside him, a memory, a feeling. Couldn't explain it. I think I've seen this place before, he whispered. Kale's eyes widened. Then it's true. You're part of the old bloodline. Eli turned. What does that mean? It means you're not just a guest, Kale said. You're a symbol of something ancient, something powerful. And that's why someone wants you gone. Later that night, back in her chambers, Queen Sorrentha stood in front of a mirror. She looked at herself but saw confusion in her eyes. She remembered the way Eli smiled, the way he asked questions, the way he stood up for peace even after almost being killed. But she also remembered the rules. Royals do not fall in love with outsiders. Royals do not blush. Royals do not show weakness. And yet, she had broken all those rules. Am I cursed? She whispered. No, came a voice from the door. It was Malra, her trusted advisor. You are not cursed, Malra said. You are simply true, Sorrentha turned. I feel things I cannot explain. I dream of him. I feel his thoughts. Sometimes, his fear. Malra looked serious. This is the bond. Sorrentha's breath caught. The bond. But that hasn't happened in centuries. It has returned, Malra said softly. Because he is one of them. One of who? Malra handed her a scroll. A descendant of the ancient bondmates. A bloodline lost during the Old War. Until now, Sorrentha opened the scroll. It showed a drawing, a human boy with a glowing blue crystal around his neck. His name was Elion, Malra said. Vanished long ago. But we think his blood continues. Sorrentha's eyes went wide. You think Eli is his descendant? Yes. And the crystal he carries, the velo only glows for the true heir? Sorrentha sat down, her heart beating fast. Then, this is more than peace. More than friendship. Yes, Malra said. It is destiny. Meanwhile, in the secret chamber below, Kale showed Eli a hidden message he found in an old council file. It was short, but clear. Operation. Crownfall begins in 5 days. The queen must fall. Human must be removed. Prepare the mindbinders. Eli read it twice. They're planning a coup. Kale nodded. It's a silent one. They will remove Sorrentha, blame you, and place the general on the throne. Eli felt a wave of anger. We can't let that happen. We won't, Kale said, but we need proof. Where do we find it? Kale pointed toward the darkest tunnel. The Echo Vault. Eli frowned. What's that? A memory archive, Kale said. It records every secret spoken in the palace for the last 100 years. Only royals and council members can enter? Then how do we get in? Kale smiled. With this, he pulled out a small silver ring. It glowed slightly. Melra gave it to me. She's still loyal to the queen. Eli nodded. Then let's go. The Echo Vault was hidden behind a wall that only opened when the ring touched it. Inside was a chamber of sound. Voices from the past whispered all around. They moved like wind, soft, sharp, fast. Slow. Kale stepped forward and pressed a symbol on the floor. Search Crownfall. The voices slowed. Then one began to speak clearly. Phase 1 is done. The queen has bonded to the human. Weaker now? Then we act soon. Kill the human. Lame the rebels. Then control her mind. Eli's hands tightened into fists. They knew about the bond. They used it. Kale nodded. They planned to turn her into a puppet. Not if we expose them. They copied the voice file onto a crystal and prepared to return to the surface. But the exit door didn't open. Kale. Froze, we've been locked in. Suddenly gas began to leak into the chamber. Poison, Eli shouted. Kale activated his wrist shield. Use your balloon. Eli touched the crystal. It pulsed and a protective bubble formed around them. The gas hit the shield and stopped. They really want us dead, Kale said. Eli smiled grimly. Then we must be getting close. Outside, General Thuran, the one leading the secret plan, stood with a group of guards. Seal the vault. Let them die quietly. One guard looked nervous. What if someone asks? Thuran smiled coldly. We'll say they were traitors. Spies from Earth? The people will believe anything with the right fear. He turned away, not knowing that Queen Sorrentha stood hidden in the hallway. Listening, her heart pounded. Eli was right. Kale was right. The general was a traitor. But now, her feelings didn't matter. She had to act like a queen. She stepped into the light. I heard everything, she said coldly. The guards turned, shocked. Theron tried to smile. Your Majesty, I was only... She raised her hand. Silence. Then her eyes glowed bright. Energy poured from her fingers and struck the door to the echo vault. It shattered open. Eli and Kale stumbled out. Coughing, Sorrentha ran forward. Are you hurt? We're alive, Eli said. He handed her the proof. Sorrentha turned to Thuran. You tried to kill my guest. You tried to destroy my mind. For this, you will stand trial before all of Valara. Guards grabbed him. Oh. He didn't resist. He only stared at Eli. This is your fault, human, he growled. You've infected her. Sorrentha turned, her voice strong. No, he didn't infect me. Walked to Eli and took his hand in front of everyone. He awakened me. That night the palace was quiet. Sorrentha stood on the balcony looking at the stars. Eli stood beside her. I owe you my life, she said softly. You don't owe me anything, he replied. She looked at him. I was afraid of these feelings, but now I see. They're not a weakness. They're part of you, he said. She took his hand again. The bond is real, she whispered. I feel it too, Eli said. Even if I don't understand it, she smiled. You don't have to understand it. Just accept it. Eli looked into her eyes, and for the first time, he didn't feel like just a visitor. He felt like he belonged. The sun rose slowly over Valara, casting gold and purple light over the crystal towers. The city was calm on the outside, but inside the royal palace, chaos was growing. Queen Sorrentha sat alone in the royal chamber, her hands folded on her lap. Her face was calm, but her mind was storming with thoughts. The secret was out. General Theron had betrayed her. He tried to kill Eli, take control, and use her like a puppet. Now the council was divided. Some still supported her, but others were afraid. They believed the queen had become too human. They feared her feelings, feared the bond. Your Majesty, said Melra, as she entered the room. The council has made a request. Want you to hand Eli over for questioning? Sorrentha looked up slowly. Questioning. They say he may have used the bond to control your mind. Sorrentha stood. That's a lie, and they know it. They know, Melra said. But they also know fear works faster than truth. Sorrentha walked to the window. Below, the people of Valara were talking. Her face and Eli's were on every screen. Some believed in their bond. Others whispered that she was under human influence. They want me to choose, she said. My people or the one I care for? Melra nodded. It is a cruel choice, but they are forcing your hand. Sorrentha's voice turned cold. Then I will not play by their rules. Eli sat in a quiet garden near the guest wing. Kale stood nearby, keeping watch. The queen hasn't spoken to the public yet, Kale said. The council is pushing hard. They may try to remove her. Eli looked down at the Valoon crystal hanging from his neck. It pulsed softly, like a second heartbeat. If I leave, will it stop the chaos? He asked. Kale shook his head. No, they'll still fear the bond, but they'll have no target to blame. Without you, they may go after her directly. Eli closed his eyes. Then I can't run. You really do care for her. Didn't plan this, Eli said. But yes, I do. At that moment, a shadow passed over the garden. Queen Sorrentha appeared at the entrance, her face unreadable. Eli, come with me. We're somewhere the council cannot follow. Where Sorrentha led him to a hidden passage behind. Her throne spiraled downward into the oldest part of the palace. The air was cool. Strange lights danced on the walls. "Where are we going?" Eli asked. "To the ruins of the first bond," she said. After a long walk, they reached a great door. It opened slowly, revealing an ancient chamber. The center was a circle of floating stones. In the middle stood two statues, one human, one Valoran, hands joined. "This is where the first bond was made," Sorrentha said, "between Elian the human and Velis, our first queen." Eli walked slowly toward the statues. His chest felt warm. The Valoon was glowing. He turned to her. "This is more than history,"
Yes.
Sorrentha said. "This is the truth they don't want us to remember. Humans and Velerans were not enemies. We were partners, lovers. One race even believed the other helped them grow." She stepped closer. "The bond between us, destiny." Eli felt her hand reach for his. Their fingers touched. Suddenly the room lit up. The floating stones began to spin slowly. A soft hum filled the air. The Valoon burst with light, then a flash. Eli gasped. He saw images in his mind: Valara and Earth-sharing ships, culture families. Then a war, fire, a separation, then silence. He opened his eyes, breathing hard. "I saw everything." Sorrentha's eyes were wet. "The bond just showed you our past." "It was beautiful," he whispered, "and painful." She nodded. "Now we must decide our future." Up above in the council chamber, anger grew. "They have vanished," shouted one elder. "The queen and the human gone. This proves she is under his control," another said. General Thuran sat quietly in a cell, smiling. "They're scared. Good. Push them harder." His message had already been sent secretly before his arrest. He had warned Valara's ancient enemies, the Zorthan Empire, that the queen had bonded with a human. And now, Zorthan ships were on their way. Back in the ancient chamber, Eli looked at Sorrentha. "What now?" he asked. "We return. We tell the truth. Together. But will they believe us?" She squeezed his hand. "They don't need to believe us. They need to feel it." She touched her forehead to his. "We'll use the bond and the Valoon to show them everything." Suddenly, Kale's voice came through a small device in her hand. "Your Majesty," he said quickly, "Zorthon warships have entered orbit. They've broken the peace agreement." Sorrentha's eyes went cold. "They came for war." "Worse," Kale said. "The council just gave them permission to rescue the queen. They think they're helping." Eli stepped forward. "They think I'm the danger, and now they've invited the real threat." Sorrentha turned to Eli. "We end this now." They returned to the palace as Zorthon soldiers landed. The council stood outside the throne room, watching as armored aliens entered. The leader of the soldiers, a tall Zorthan with red skin and black armor, stepped forward. "We are here to secure your safety, Queen Sorrentha." She raised her hand. "Stand down. You are not welcome here." Zorthon sneered. "Your mind is clouded by human influence." "We are here to restore order." Eli stepped into the room. "I'm the human," he said loudly, "and I'm not controlling anyone." The room fell silent. Sorrentha turned to her people. Voice was calm but strong. "I ask for silence. I ask for truth." She raised her hands, and the Valoon floated between her and Eli. It spun faster, glowing brighter. "We will show you the bond." She touched Eli's hand. The crystal flashed hand, then projected images into the air. It's not just from history, but from their hearts. The crowd saw her feelings for Eli, his for her. Memories, emotions, fears, hopes. None of it was fake. None of it was forced. The Zorthans stepped back, confused. "What is this?" the Red One growled. "It's truth," Sorrentha said. "And you fear it." Then the people began to cheer. A wave of support rose from the crowd. "Long live the queen. Let her love who she chooses. End the lies." The council backed away ashamed. Even the Zorthons began to retreat. The Red Commander hissed, This isn't over. Sorrentha stepped forward. Yes, it is. With a wave of her hand, her guards arrested the traitors and forced the Zorthons to leave. The palace was safe. The people had chosen there, Quinn and her human bondmate. That night Valara was full of celebration. Lights danced in the sky, music played across every street. The city glowed with hope. Eli and Sorrentha stood on the balcony. Watching together, you changed everything, she said. We did it together, Eli replied. She smiled. The council has agreed to new terms, joint council between Velerans and humans. And what about us? He asked quietly. She turned toward him. You are no longer just a guest. She held out her hand. You are my partner, my choice. Ah! Eli took her hand, and you are mine. Valara was quiet after the long night of celebration. Crystal lights still glowed softly across the city. People had returned to their homes, but something in the air had changed. For the first time in many years, hope had returned to the hearts of both humans and Valarans. Queen Sorrentha stood before the great window of the throne room. She looked out at her world with calm eyes and a soft smile. Beside her stood Gila. He wore new clothes robes designed by both human and Velaran artists. Light fabric, simple but elegant, a symbol of the bond between two worlds, the council chamber. Behind them was now filled with both human and Velaran leaders. After the truth had been shown through the Valoon, many old laws had been removed. The lies had ended, but today was not just about peace. Today was about a beginning. People of Valara. Queen Sorrentha spoke to the cameras, her voice strong and warm, and people of Earth, who now watch this live from across the stars. Today we mark a new age. She looked at Eli, then back at the crowd. For too long, fear and silence kept us apart. But the bond between me and Eli has reminded us of something deeper than politics or history. It reminded us of love, of trust, of shared destiny. Eli stepped forward. I didn't come here to change anything, he said honestly. I came as a guest, but I found something no one expected. A connection, a history, a home. The people clapped. Even the Velaran guards who once doubted him now bowed their heads in respect. Sorrentha raised the Valoon crystal. It pulsed, then floated into the air, spinning slowly above them both. It shone with soft blue light, showing old images again, human and Velaran hands joining. Smiles, peace, a bond deeper than time. I declare the Council of Two Suns formed, Sorrentha said, with leaders from Earth and Valara working together. Eli added, and this council will never rule through fear, but through truth. Everyone stood and clapped. The moment marked a turning point in both civilizations. Later that day, Sorrentha and Eli walked alone through the Queen's private garden. The flowers glowed in the late sunlight. Small winged animals flew between trees. A stream of clear water bubbled softly near their feet. You know, Eli said, when I first came here, I thought I'd be back on Earth in a week. Sorrentha laughed softly, and now I never want to leave. She looked at him, and Earth, your people, have thousands of diplomats. But only one me, he smiled. She smiled back. Good answer. They sat near the glowing water. Eli took off the Valoon crystal and placed it between them. This crystal, it changed everything, he said. Sorrentha touched it gently. It responded to the truth inside us. Eli leaned closer. It also saved my life. And you saved mine, she whispered. Not just from Theron, but from being alone. From hiding what I really felt. They looked at each other in silence. Then Sorrentha said something Eli never expected. Will you bond with me? Eli blinked. You mean like marriage? For us, it's deeper than that, she said. It means our minds will connect fully. Our thoughts, feelings, memories. You will feel what I feel, and I will feel you. Not forever, just as long as we both choose to stay connected. Eli thought for a moment. What happens if we fight? He joked. Sorrentha smiled. And we feel each other's anger. It's not easy, but it's honest. He took her hand. I accept. The Valoon pulsed with joy. That evening, a small private ceremony was held in the ancient Hall of Echoes. Only a few guests were invited: Melra, Kale, and 2 human leaders. From Earth, Eli and Sorrentha stood at the center. With the statues of Elion and Queen Velis watching silently from behind, Kale placed the Valoon between them. Melra spoke. This bond is not ruled by law or power, it is ruled by choice. Do you, Eli of Earth, accept this connection, knowing the joy and burden it brings? I do. Do you, Sorrentha of Alara, accept this bond with full heart and mind? I do. The Valoon rose into the air and exploded in soft light. A gentle wave passed through the room. Everyone stood quietly. Then Sorrentha and Eli opened their eyes at the same time and smiled. They could now feel each other's joy. They were bonded in the days that followed. Things changed quickly. Human. Scientists and Velaran engineers began working together. New schools opened to teach both languages and history. Peace talks with the Zorthon Empire were restarted, this time with no lies. Old archives were opened and both races began learning the truth. Eli became more than a diplomat. He became a bridge officer, the first ever, who worked between both worlds, making sure neither side was left behind. But most of all, he was Sorrentha's partner. They stood together during every important event, every vote, every challenge. The people started calling him the human heart of Valara. One day, Eli stood alone in the throne room. Looking at the stars through the wide window, Sorrentha walked in behind him, wrapping her arms around his waist. "What are you thinking?" she asked. "Just how strange everything turned out," he said. She smiled. "You mean how you were almost killed, became bonded to a queen, started a new council, and saved 2 civilizations?" Eli laughed. "Yeah, that." They stood together in silence. Sorrentha whispered, "Do you ever miss Earth?" "I miss trees," he said. "And pizza?" She laughed again. "But no," he added, turning to her. "I don't miss Earth, because my heart is here now." She reached up and touched his face. "And mine is with you." Later that week, a group of Velaran children visited the palace. They asked many questions. One small girl, with glowing green hair, looked up at Eli. "Are you really the human the queen loves?" He smiled and knelt down. "Yes, I am." The little girl's eyes sparkled. "Did you save her?" "No," Eli said, looking at Sorrentha. "She saved me." The children giggled and clapped. As the children left, Sorrentha whispered, "You've become a legend, you know." Eli shook his head. "No, just a man who followed the truth," blushed a little. "Less than you." She blushed again and laughed. Then she leaned in and whispered in his ear, "You are welcome, human, always."